2015 PAC championship game. The time has finally come. We start with 6 teams. We are down to 2. It will be the third game in 3 days for Oregon and the second game in 2 days for Utah. So a lot of hockey been played this weekend, and it's been a great tournament so far here at the South Lake Tahoe Ice Arena. But all of those first games now, those are all afterthoughts. We are down to 1 game for the 2015 PAC-8 championship. For Utah, this will not be the end of their season, win or lose. They will be skating in the regionals in Tempe, and they will be hosting and most likely skating probably as a high seed as well at the national tournament. For Oregon, this is it. It's the last game that they will play this season. So as they take the ice here, they know that they might not be favored in this game. I don't think anybody on that bench is really entertaining any of those thoughts, but they're also not intimidated. Talking to the guys before the game at breakfast and in the vans and in the just in the lobby of the rink here before the game, they look loose, Dylan.
Absolutely, but you cannot underestimate the skating Utes. They look loose as well. We got to see them warm up out here as a team. They were all fired up, extremely loud, and they're pumped up for this game.
Absolutely, and you know they are. We mentioned that they would be the favorites in this game. One of the things that the Utes have going for them, probably more so than any team in this tournament, Dylan, is just the depth that they have, and that was one of the concerns that some of the Oregon players had, is that, you know, there isn't a soft spot on this Utah team. Oregon, though, not a shallow bench for them, and their third and fourth lines and their second, third line, really every line has been contributing in this tournament. We've seen Pat Taylor have a hat trick in one game and have an explosive hit in the second game. Chris Campbell scored 2 goals yesterday. Jesse Leonard had to fill in the starting lineup against Cal. He did great. The Ducks were able to get Alex Solitzer back. So I think Oregon, you know, they're not scared.
No, not at all. You know, the guys are definitely feeling it. They're pumped up. The Ducks, you know, they're riding high right now. They've been playing as well as anyone could have seen them play this season so far. To win this game, it's going to take everyone, though. The Utes are a tough team. They're every single player on this team that you mentioned that they have a deep bench. They're all fast. They're all athletic, and their hands are just. Their puck handling is amazing.
It absolutely is, and a brief introduction for our Utah viewers who might not be familiar with the voices. You'll notice that neither me or Dylan is Matt Coma's voice that you're very familiar with. My name is Isaac Rosenthal. My color commentator is Dylan Lee. Matt was nice enough to give us the call for this game. We still have Josh Hafley on camera, and we are obviously on the Skating Youth site tonight, so we will do our best to stay as neutral as possible. Old habits may die hard, but I've got a nice sign above the rink here that reminds me that by entering the facility, I agree to the following, and one of those bullet points is that the officials make the calls on the ice, so I will have to write standards if I don't do that well tonight. We'll go over the starting lineups here briefly. I'll go goalie, defense, and then the 3 forwards. In goal for Utah is going to be Chris Coma. The top defair will be Colton McDonald and David Barnes. And then that top offensive unit is going to have Chase McDonald, Josh Dangle, which is probably the name of the tournament, along with Michael Ahern. For Oregon, the starting lineup, it's going to be Danny Cockle, who has been absolutely outstanding in this tournament. His depair is going to be the tongue twister of Taryn Donnelly and Darren Toller. The top D-line, or the top offensive unit rather, will be Zach Foss, Nick Shabara, and Chris Campbell, which, if you're being technical, is really the Ducks' second line, but they got the start yesterday in which Salamore opted to do the same thing again.
Yeah, you know, I think Rich definitely has faith in the guys that he's seen produce so far in this PAC-12, PAC-8 tournament. However, sorry for the misspoke there. Rich definitely called upon these guys in the hour of need. Obviously, they didn't have the Alex Solitzer at the beginning of this tournament, but these guys stepped up, and they've been playing hot right now.
So, Dylan, if you could give me a key, 1 or 2 keys to the game for Oregon, what's that going to be?
For Oregon, it's all about the first 10 minutes of this game. They want to get out, and they really want to hit the Utes in the mouth. They've got to come out, skate fast, and keep it in the offensive zone. They want to score first. If they can score first, that's going to be a huge momentum shift for them. That's going to be the key to them having a shot in this game. If you're the Utes, obviously, you know, do what you're used to doing. Be athletic, skate fast, and they have a really tough forecheck. That's going to be tough for the Ducks.
Yeah, and I think the other thing for the Utah Utes is playing up for this game. We mentioned this being it, win or lose for Oregon. Win or lose for Utah, they will skate another day. So I think this game might mean more to one locker room than the other. Obviously, a conference championship is something that you want to win. But with ASU not participating in this tournament, immediately Utah became the heavy favorites. And we will have to see, how they're able to respond to a team that, is motivated like they're playing in a championship game. The Utes beat Utah 9-2 yesterday, which, by the way, folks, I called that exact score in the lobby before the game. So there you go. But it was a dominant performance against Washington, and kind of fit with the performances that Utah has had against Washington. And frankly, with the exception of one I-5 Cup game, Oregon was very dominant against the Huskies as well, with a couple of big wins at home, a big win on the road. So, I think this is going to be a good game. There's no reason for Oregon to be a walkover here for Utah. And Utah's a good team, but they've had goals scored against them, and Oregon defensively has looked really good in this tournament. In fact, no even strength goals scored against the Ducks, just one goal in each game, and they were both scored on the power play. So we mentioned it, Danny Cockrell has been outstanding. Saves on 33 of 34 shots against last night, and it could have been a big USC win with really almost anybody else in there in goal. But Danny Cockrell does Danny Cockrell things, and as he gets warmed up now, he looks ready. He's looked ready all day, and it's going to be a big game for the Ducks. They've got a tight travel schedule. Win or lose, they will collect whichever piece of hardware they will be awarded after the game, take a brief shower, and then immediately load up into vans. I think they've got, like a 5 o'clock flight, Dylan? A 5:30 flight, something like that?
Yeah, they have leaving right at 5 o'clock, so it's going to be tough for them. Definitely squeezing a lot here in a little bit of time, but it's going to be a great game either way. Obviously, we've seen the Ducks take some penalties in the previous games. I think that's going to be huge as well. They need to keep 5 skaters on the ice.
Oh, absolutely. They played very little 5-on-5 time yesterday, particularly in the second and third periods, and when they did, and when they, the few times when they actually got the puck into their zone, they did good things. They only ended up with about 17 shots yesterday. The official shot clock, which is kept down in the scorer's booth, was 34-17, but Oregon was the 17. So that's what Danny Cockrell can do for you, and that's also what happens when you spend so much time having to play on your heels and having to kill penalties. We are going to take one quick break here, get everything ready, and then we will come back for a puck drop shortly. The official clock says 3:35 left, so don't go anywhere. Well, the big clock on the scoreboard just now says 30 seconds left before the start of this game. The referees and the linesmen are converging on center ice. We're not really sure if we'll have an anthem or official announcements of starting lineups. It's been a little bit inconsistent what they're doing musically in this tournament, so maybe we have a little more time than that. Maybe really only is 10 seconds left. Dylan, before we get started here, any final thoughts for you at Utah or Oregon?
You know, it's going to be huge. Like we've talked about before, it's going to be hard for the Utes. We're not really sure how they're feeling. We see them pumped up, you know, but it's going to be hard to get complacent as they do have those other games they need to worry about.
Yeah, they do, and you know, those are big games, and you know, you talk about the difference between what a conference title is compared to a regional title. Look no further than you know, ASU is going to be playing in the regionals but not playing in this tournament. You know, it is a bigger prize. There's local pride involved, and there's bragging rights for next season, but regionals are big, and then obviously the opportunity to go towards nationals is big. So this is maybe not quite a regular season game for Utah, but I don't think it's maybe as big as it is for Oregon. I haven't been inside that locker room, so maybe I'm completely wrong there. Maybe they are treating this, you know, as big as the Ducks are, but for Oregon, this is Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, you know, it's big for the team. It's definitely big for any of the seniors they have on the ice out right now. It's going to be, you know, regardless of if you have games later on, it's the last PAC-8, you know, PAC-8 championship you're going to play in if you're a senior.
Yeah, and you know, for some, you know, many of these Ducks, it is their final game, period. Danny Cockrell, you know, this is going to be the last game of collegiate hockey he plays. Chris Stankovic, Trevor McCarty, you know, Alex Salter as well. You know, a lot of seniors on this team, a lot of good players on this team that are playing in their last 20 or 60 minutes rather of hockey. It looks like the Revs have their helmets off and the players are on the line, so typically that's going to mean an anthem. So I think we will take our headsets off and keep the mics rolling and listen to the anthem. The sticks have been tapped on the ice. The referees are putting their helmets back on, and we've got a nice natural light window there. Nice ice surface here. The Zamboni's made its rounds, and the players are ready. Not really much more to say. We're going to play some hockey here, and we are 60 minutes of hockey, and maybe then some overtime. We shall see, but one way or another, we are one game away from crowning a PAC-8 championship. We'll give you the starting lineups one more time. For Utah, Chris Coma starts in goal. On defense, it's going to be Colton McDonald and David Barnes, and then Josh Dangle, Michael Ahern, and Chase McDonald, the starting offensive unit. For Oregon, Danny Cockrell in goal, Taryn Donnelly and Darren Toller on defense, and then the top line of Zach Foss, Chris Campbell, and Nick Shabara, which again, technically the two line for the Ducks, but they will get the start today as they did yesterday. Here we go, Nick Shabara digging in for the faceoff, and he will win it for the Ducks. Gets it right back to Darren Toller, who skates backwards in his own zone. Looks for an option here, and with a backhanded pass, it's going to be intercepted in the neutral zone. Utah moving forward, but the pass a little bit too far out in front of Dangle, and now it goes to the corner. Utah with it at the blue line. Barnes threw a shot in, and now Oregon gets the puck their own. Big check thrown, but the Ducks do maintain possession. It went to Taryn Donnelly. Donnelly gets it over to Chris Campbell, who just flipped it forward there, and the Ducks get a change. Patrick Scarlotta does the same, just knocks it forward, standing right in front of the red line. Pat Taylor goes hard into the boards after trying to make a check on a Utah Ute there. Utes try to move it out, but Will Daniels gets it in defense. Daniels passes it over to the bench, a little sloppy, tried to find Joe Hoover. They have to go to the corner now, and Hoover does just backhand it away, but it's going to be taken by the Utes. That's Doug Newell that had a touch of it there. They go for the backhand, shot in the middle. Shot thrown through, and a save by Danny Cockrell. That was Sam Wilson with the first solid shooting opportunity of the game, and we played exactly 1 minute officially.
Boy, the Utes are looking dangerous already. They're skating fast, and they're crashing that net like we've seen them do. Obviously, we saw them last night with the 9-2 victory over Washington. That's it's going to be something the Ducks need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I know, and good for the Ducks to kind of get first shifts from everybody here as the Sulitzer line is out there. It's going to be Sulitzer, McCarty, and Ryan Eberle. Or excuse me, Sulitzer, McCarty, and Schott. That is the Trevor's unit for the Ducks. Oh, that was an opportunity for Utah. Came to the stick of 21. That is Ben Seastrand there, but couldn't quite put it home. Puck squirts loose in the neutral zone now, and it's Utah going backwards in their own zone, trying to set it up. Intercepted in the neutral zone by the Ducks, and here comes Oregon. It's Trevor Schott with it. Schott just fires it, and it's going to be collected by Coma. 18:28 left, and Oregon has the first face-off in the Utah zone.
Not too much opposition there, not too much of a challenge for Coma. Definitely great to cover it, though. Obviously, he's going to want to cover it anytime he feels uncomfortable, has anyone crashing the net. That's great.
So it's the Shabara unit out there once again for the Ducks, and Shabara will be asked to leave the face-off circle. Chris Campbell comes in his place. And Oregon can't quite keep it in the zone there. It was Taron Donnelly not able to keep it in, but Darren Toller tapped it forward, and Oregon now does keep it in the Utah zone. Nick Shabara with it. Shabara and Foss very close to each other there, a little bit bunched up. Puck comes up to Toller, who takes a shot, but it doesn't get through. And now an opportunity for Utah, but Taron Donnelly got to that one first. Tap there in the middle for Campbell, but he couldn't control it. Caden Otley with it for the Utes. And now back for the Ducks. Utah in their own zone. They get the pass. It's Otley again. And once again, the puck going wide in the corner there. Utah's just going to dump it, and they'll get a change. Oregon with a chance to move up ice. Pat Taylor with a touch for the Ducks. Tried to find Jake Yale, and eventually does after the puck bounced around a little bit, but Utah intercepts. That looked like it may have been offside, but no call there, and the linesman did probably have a better position than I did. Puck is in front. Loose puck, and bouncing around, and that's been kind of the story for Danny Cockrell, as he's had to just keep his eyes locked on that puck so far in this tournament. He's been doing a good job. A shot from the Utes, and that one did not get through. Utes trying to set it up for Barnes at the point, or he was asking for it. And another shot comes in. That one doesn't get through, and Oregon just flips that one up and into the neutral zone. They'll get a brief change. Here's Barnes, though. He will skate in. And now tries the centering pass, does Barnes, but Oregon with the puck. It was Will Daniels with it, and hit hard is Patrick Scarlotta, and Oregon will just throw that one towards the behind the net area. They get a change. Barnes with it now for the Utes. Flips it up for Michael Ahern. And it's still Ahern with it. Ahern had the opportunity to pass to Ben Seastrand, but it would have been a difficult one. The Ducks with the puck behind their own cage. 16:26 left in this first period of play. No score so far in the 2015 PAC-8 title. Trevor Schott with one from the blue line that kind of made Coma work a little bit there. He got the save, he got the pads to it, but went behind the net. And the puck now squirts in front. It's going to be Utah moving up ice. Number 18 there, Seamus Bertinoli, one of the two Bertinoli brothers on this team. And now here's a big opportunity for the Ducks. Alex Seltzer's in the middle, and knocked down on the play there was Trevor McCarty. Oregon still with the puck. Shot to McCarty, but knocked away, and now the Ducks in the neutral zone with the puck, trying to get back on side, and good alertness by McCarty not to touch the puck there, as he would have been off. Moving forward into their Duck zone is Utah, but it's the Ducks with the puck. The Ducks kind of playing up to Utah's level so far, but the Utes have maybe one or two better opportunities. Neither team scored so far in this game. One game for all the marbles in the PAC-8 tournament, and Zach Foss gains the red line and flips it forward on the dump and chase. It goes behind the net. Coma to play it, and they gets it to a Ute, and now Utah moving up ice. Brief touch there from Caden Otley, and then it was number 26, Ellis Riley, run into the boards, and we've got a whistle there and an icing call.
That was definitely close. He was close to that red line, but obviously the ref down there saw something we didn't, as the puck can tend to disappear along these near side boards for us, but definitely calling it close regardless of where the puck actually was.
Well, it looks like the referee having a discussion with his linesman now, and we have seen sometimes that they will call icing and then end up having a face-off either at center or at the neutral zone. It looks like that will not be the case this time, as Jesse Leonard's unit out there along with Patrick Scarlatta and Pat Taylor. This group has been great for the Ducks. Look no further than Pat Taylor's huge hit in game number 2 and his hat trick in game number 1 as Scarlatta digs in for the face-off. Scarlatta against number 16 there for the Chase McDonald, and it's going to go all the way back down and icing once again against Utah. So the Utes trying to get a change, and they're going to be directed right back to the bench, as we'll have one more face-off in front of Chris Coma. 15-10 left first period. PAC-8 championship game, no score. Isaac Rosenthal joined alongside by Dylan Lee. Our cameraman is Josh Hafley, so a bipartisan representation up here on the announcers. Well, it is quite literally a box, and a shot comes through. That one ends up going wide, and Dangle with the touch for Utah. Dangle certainly on the all-name team. Gets it up to McDonald. McDonald fires through, forces a pad save from Cockrell. Rebound goes way wide to the boards, though, and Utah able to get the touch to it in some possession. Utes still trying to battle for it and get something in front, and Oregon with the pass back trying to find Joe Hoover, but it was intercepted by the Utes, and they still have the puck in the corner. It's sort of glued there. Dangle behind the net. Tried to get the shot through, and that was a baseball swing from Ellis Riley. And Will Daniels now a good opportunity for Utah, but Cockrell with the save and the second one on the cover. 14:32, and whistles are blowing here as there has been a convention in front of Danny Cockrell.
Man, the Utes have looked strong so far. Every single pass they make has been on point, and every single time they get out of their defensive zone, they're looking up ice, trying to get that long pass through the neutral zone.
Utah certainly looking strong. Oregon, though, not looking intimidated, but you want to look more than just not intimidated if you're the Ducks here. Puck gets out past the neutral zone, and this one going to go the length of the ice for icing the other way with 14:24 left. So no line change for the Ducks. Utah will finally get a new group out there. Pretty good representation from both sets of fans here, Oregon and Utah fans and parents. Probably the best attended game we've seen so far. No surprise, as it is the championship, as Cockrell makes a save. Puck goes behind the net, and Michael Luke with a touch on it there. Back behind the net for Utah. And that's Doug Newell that had it. Puck bounced in front, and that one was almost dangerous. Now Barnes tried to keep it in there. Could not quite, and he does have to go backwards with it, back into his own zone, past the curling dots, and cleared the length of the ice. And no icing called on that one. Looked like one linesman may have had the arm up, but there was no whistle. And good stick checking there from the Ducks, just making it difficult for Utah to move anywhere with the puck. That's going to be Barnes moving around with it. Barnes takes a shot and a save, Danny Cockrell. So far, though, it's been, in terms of the shooting advantage, Utah has had more shots. Oregon did have one solid one, and a nice shot from Trevor Schott earlier, too, that came from the blue line and was sort of a dumped shot, but it forced Coma to make a nice save. Puck is around, and a tap from Darren Toller there. And it's Oregon trying to move out there, and they may just get the opportunity, but a little bit sloppy. Now here's the Ducks. Here's Chris Campbell. Campbell's got 3 Utes, so he just takes the shot right at Coma, forces the save, and he's going to be pushed away before he can even do any kind of net crashing there. 13:15 left as the faceoff's going to come to the side of Coma.
And these face-offs in the offensive zone for the Ducks are going to be huge. Obviously, Utah's having the way with the puck in their offensive zone. Ducks have kind of struggled getting numbers on offensive possessions. Yeah, and that's something we saw yesterday. Is even though they did get what ended up being a fairly convincing win over USC, Oregon just had not a lot of time on the puck in their own offensive zone. We got the first penalty of the game coming up here, and there is the whistle coming right up. So
We talked about that as a key to the game for Oregon, staying out of the box. They did so for about 7 minutes, but they will be escorted to the penalty box here.
This is a huge moment in the game. You know, the Utes have a great penalty play. They really are aggressive, and I'd look to see the Utes keeping it in their offensive zone quite a bit on this penalty play.
Yeah, you know, and it's going to be a big test for Danny Cockrell, a big test for the Ducks penalty killing unit as Alex Solitzer takes a seat. 2 minutes is the penalty with 12:53 left first period. So big face-off here. If the Ducks could get a clearance and right away, that would be huge for Oregon. But it does go to the point for Utah. The shot comes through. And a nice save from Cockrell. He saw that one through the forest. It was Curtis Coons who threw that one towards goal.
Danny's just had great vision through this PAC-8 tournament so far. You know, there have been quite a few bodies that are screening him, and it seems like every time so far he's been equal to it.
Absolutely, he has. I think win or lose for the Ducks, he's their player of the tournament. As Utah with another shot and another glove save from one Daniel Cockrell. That was Coons again with the shot from the point. Only 14 seconds have elapsed on this penalty to Solitzer, though, and Cockrell's already had to make 2 nice saves.
And, you know, it's not too surprising. This is, you know, we knew this was going to happen with this penalty play. Obviously, the skating Utes a lot more aggressive on their penalty play than the Ducks have been so far.
And that one was dangerous as the puck was sent on a centering opportunity, but no tap able to get to it. Utah now with it at the point. McDonald back to Coons, and now McDonald again tried to fight it through the middle. Trevor shot, got a tap to it, but Oregon couldn't clear, and a hit thrown there by Michael Luke. He's known to do that every once in a while. Shot comes through, but that one was sent wide by Seamus Bertinoli. Bertinoli number 2 on this team. Mentioned his brother, gotta find him on the list, his brother Bo mentioned earlier. As that shot get through and Cockrell was able to pad it aside. Oregon, though, still unable to clear so far on this penalty. And that one bounced away, but Utah does keep it in the zone. Ducks still trying to get that clearance. They could be right there, and they are still not able to get it out of the zone. 47 seconds left, so we're over halfway through the penalty to Solitzer. Another shot opportunity, and there's the shot. Rebound was there, but they couldn't put it home, could the Utah Utes. Another nice move there from Danny Cockrell diving, and that one does just come out of the blue line, so everyone's got to get back on side for the Utes. Puck kind of disappears for me on the near side boards there. And Seastrand with it for Utah. Seastrand thought about a pass, instead he still has it. Now he'll go backwards. And now to the point, the shot, but a good block there, and Oregon just gets a stick to it. 13 seconds left on the penalty. Maybe one more rush up ice for Utah's power play unit with 6 seconds left. Solitzer standing in the box. 4 seconds left, and it's 25 there. Michael Ahern with the puck with another penalty coming up. And we'll see who this call goes against. It looked like it was on a Ducks touch when the whistle came. Awaiting the official call from the referee. And roughing is the call from against Michael Luke, so no stranger to that infraction is Mr. Luke. Did you see that hit, Dylan?
You know, I didn't really get an eye on that one, so I'm not entirely sure what happened, but Michael Luke obviously not a stranger to being in the box.
Well, so right back to the power play goes Utah. Effectively, this is basically a 4-minute penalty that Oregon's going to have to kill off, as they have just killed one, but they've looked pretty good on that. Not many clearances, but good. Didn't give a lot of shooting windows, and Danny Cockrell was outstanding, and he makes another save there with 1:43 left on the penalty to Luke. Worrisome, though, for Oregon that they've taken 2 consecutive penalties like that with 10.5 minutes left in this first period. We talked about the first 10 minutes for the Ducks, and through 9.5 minutes, they've looked pretty good, but they haven't followed through on that not taking penalties promise that they made to Coach Rich Salahor. Here's Barnes with a window shot from Danny Cockrell, and Nick Shabara with it. And finally, the Ducks able to clear that one. It's going to go all the way back to the stick of Coma. Coma with the pass all the way through to the neutral zone. And we've got another man going down. But the offside is the call. Barnes is having a bit of a discussion with the Benner, our linesman. Benner, if there was an award for referee flow of the year, would certainly take that one home. Trevor McCarty of the Ducks took home all PAC-8 all flow honors, but Utah with some certain representatives on that list of their own. And moving forward with the puck now are the Utes as they gain the zone. Bertinoli enters the shot and saves a rebound, scores to the Utah Utes. The third time in this tournament that the Ducks have been scored on. All three of them have been power play goals. So 9:56 left. The Ducks just did get through that first 10 minutes, but then they gave up a goal. And we've got a penalty coming up to Josh Dangle. I saw the referee pointing right after that goal. I'm not sure what the call was. Must have been something after the play for the goal to have counted. So maybe some magic words, maybe a shove or something after the play, but referee immediately making the call and sending Dangle to the box. So Oregon now goes to the power play, and this is going to be big for them if they can maybe get a power play goal here to tie it up. We talked about a first goal for the Ducks, and we talked about not getting more than one goal behind. So Joe Hoover with a touch now to Seltzer, but a little bit too far in front. And Utah gets a clearance here. Will Daniels is going to have to go back and chase that one. Daniels with it, and he starts up ice. That's going to get all the way through to Joe Hoover there. And now back Taryn Donnelly in the neutral zone. Saves the puck from going too far on the clearance, but Utah really able to just clear pretty effortlessly so far on this power play for the Ducks with 1:20 left on the penalty to Josh Dangle. In their own zone on the power play are the Ducks. It's Taryn Donnelly moving up. And Oregon's passing not quite as crisp as you would like to see so far as another clearance from Utah. Moving up ice are the Ducks. That one off the stick of Shabara, and Utah with a chance short-handed now. Moving back behind his own net is Michael Ahern, but he's hit hard. And now the Ducks to start up ice. It's Shabara. Shabara to Chris Campbell with Zach Foss out there as well. They get it to Foss. And now back for Shabara, but Ahern clears for the Ducks, and Chris Stankovic has to chase this one down. 30 seconds left on the penalty to Utah. 1-0 is the score in favor of the team in white. That is the Utah Utes. Oregon has had a couple of shots, but Utah has so far looked the stronger team. Behind the net there, a touch for Nicholas Johnson for the Utes. As Jake Yale is out there for the Ducks now, along with Patrick Scarlatta and Chris Campbell. We may see the rest of that line come on, as Yale's unit has looked good in this tournament. A shot goes wide there from Chris Campbell. Kept just barely in as Utah back to even strength. Chris Campbell with it in the corner. Campbell just goes behind the net for Yale, and that puck bouncing around in front and covered up by Coma. 7:47 left. First period, Utah with a 1-0 lead.
Great cover by Coma. Obviously, the Ducks, the passing has been really their biggest flaw so far. Their passes haven't been as crisp, but they were able to get into the offensive zone at the end of that penalty play and finally make Coma work for it. We haven't seen him tested too much tonight.
So 7:47 left, as we said. Alex Seltzer digging in for the faceoff against Dangle. And Trevor Schott gets one that does not get all the way through. In fact, it was underneath a Utah Ute there, so right back to Will Daniels as everyone on the ice lost the puck for a moment. Trevor Schott tried to bat that one home. Schott still with it. Will Daniels has to immediately change directions as he just does keep that one from going into the Duck zone, but has to dump it in as Oregon would have been offside on the play. And the long two-line pass there for the Utes. We've seen them with several of those two-line passes so far today. Puck disappearing in the corner now. Tries to tap it to himself, did Trevor McCarty, and Alex Seltzer lost track of it when it is at his feet. Back for Hoover. And Oregon trying to do the cross-ice passing. It's just not working for them so far. Another shot thrown on net by Barnes there. Cockrell with the save. So 6:56 left, 1-0 is the score. And Oregon doing a good job of weathering the storm. The Utah goal did come on the power play, and that has been the only time we've seen folks score against the Ducks in this tournament. And it's not to say anything that the penalty kill hasn't been good, because it has just been tested so many times. But the one goal Cal scored and the one goal USC scored both came on the power play. And Utah's goal as well. Dango flipped it toward the middle there for Seamus Bertinoli. Taryn Donnelly tries to clear that one out. Chris Campbell couldn't get it as he was crunched into the boards. And now Campbell trying to get a stick to it again, but it's going to be Utah moving in front of net. They had the opportunity for the shot, couldn't quite catch up with the puck. And it disappears again in that right side, near side corner. It's loose in front again. Denny Cockrell probably had a better eyeball on it than I did, but didn't end up getting through to him. And now Zach Foss with it. Foss is just collapsed on once he got the puck and was not able to get a pass made. So Oregon just not able to really do much offensively so far. They've looked okay defensively, but they've just been on their heels too much. And all the way down the length of the ice, that one's going to go. Would have been icing, but it just taps off the stick of Coma. And Pat Taylor now tries to zero in on it. Hit thrown there from Michael Luke. He had the, he was honing in for that one, decided to pull it back a little bit to avoid that roughing call. 5:38 left on the official clock. Ours is a little bit behind. And the face-off again goes all the way to the corner. Chris Stankovic going at it for the Ducks, and chasing it down was Seastrand for the Utes, and it's Seastrand again. Seastrand tries the centering pass, but puck is still loose in front, and the shot thrown on goal. Post! And they score! 2-goal lead for Utah. 5:21 left, first period.
This is going to be huge for the Ducks. This is where we're going to need to see them, if they want to get back into this game, really step up and get at least one down or one on the board before we go into the intermission after the first period.
Absolutely, Dylan, and you know, 2-goal lead is, they say it's the worst lead in hockey, but obviously you would much rather be up than down 2 goals. Barnes with it in his own zone, or excuse me, that was a 6, Colton McDonald that had the puck there. Crunched along the boards there, and puck is sort of being dug for, got a bunch of skates, goes all the way to the opposite corner. And Utah still with it. Touch of the puck there was Nick Fornelius. And out into the neutral zone now, moving backwards, is Eric Gossers. And the Ducks now with the puck, but only briefly. Big hit thrown there. Oregon just does keep it in the zone. It's Alex Seltzer. Seltzer the shot, but a save made. Puck is loose. Somewhere it is down there, and the referee says, oh, and we've got some not hugging going on in front, and puck eventually did squirt loose there, but the referee was not able to see it, and I think rightly so, whistling that one dead, as we could have had a rugby scrum in that play if there was no whistle.
Interesting that he didn't blow it dead sooner. I'm not really sure. It looked like Coma covered it in time, and he was all over that puck, but did you kind of see why?
You know, I didn't see the puck, but the referee did exactly what you're supposed to do as an official in that position. He was right behind the net. He had his eyes peeled, and I have to assume that he must have been able to see the puck that whole time. We do have at least one penalty called on the play. It's going to go one against Utah, one against Oregon. So most likely these will match, and we'll still play 5-on-5, but every once in a while they'll just call them 4-on-4 here.
Both, two for Oregon.
And two for Utah as well. So we'll maybe match one and 4-on-4 for the other. They'll get it all sorted out. Have to imagine these are probably all going to be some varietal of roughing. They don't really do much of a job of turning towards us and signaling their penalties, so we try as best as we can and watch the officials, but sometimes we have to play a little bit of a guessing game.
And we don't really have a PA announcer here, which is a little bit strange. We've seen the only 2 times we had a PA announcer as well as somebody on the music is games that involved the Washington Huskies.
Yeah, and you know, we thought maybe Washington had brought somebody, but then the goal horn started going for UCLA too in that first game, and not sure if the goal horn was going for both or either teams yesterday, but the music certainly was. But it's only been UW games that have had a music man and a PA man. So 4:37 left first period. Utah has extended their lead to 2 goals. The first even strength goal to be scored against the Ducks is the second one. And of course, a power play goal for that first goal, as the referees are still working with the folks in the scorer's booth to get this sorted out.
I'm not really sure as to what else it could be other than just matching roughing calls.
Well, cue the Jeopardy music here. Beautiful South Lake Tahoe, California. A nice rink here. We've got a big, long window that goes almost the length of the ice and some nice trees outside. Still conversing now. They've stopped talking to the scorer's booth and they're discussing things with the captains. Patrick Scarlotta and Josh Dangle out there having a conversation with the referee. It is 2-0 Utah. And a third Utah Ute has just entered the penalty box. So it's a crowded box for the Utes. And this may result, we'll see if there's a third Duck that sits down, but we may see an Oregon penalty or an Oregon power play here. Don't want to call anything before it happens though. And now the referees will explain what they've done to both coaches, and eventually we will start to play hockey again.
There seem to be 3, like you said, 3 Utah players in the box right there.
There's no one's number is up on the board yet though, so we'll see if anyone's matching and out 2 minutes on a whistle. We won't have their numbers go up. Have to assume at least some of that's going to happen.
I guess effectively we really have a timeout, chance for both teams to really talk over what they'd like to do here. If you're Utah, last 4 minutes, last 5 minutes of this first period, you really want to finish strong, and up 2 goals going into the first period, that's a great position to be in. Obviously they'd like to push it as far as they could, get another one up on there, but if you're the Ducks, you want to cut that down to a 1-goal lead. I think is feasible for the Ducks. If they can get down to just trailing by 1 into the first intermission, I feel like they'd be in a great position.
Absolutely, and I think you hit it on the head for Utah. You want to kind of go for the dagger, maybe not a dagger, but just try to really hammer things home here. Well, there is 3 players in the box for Utah, 2 players in the box for Oregon, but we look to be playing 5-on-5 hockey here, so I'm not quite sure how that works out unless maybe someone was just given an additional 10-minute misconduct of some sort. It's the only thing I can really think of there. Utah taps that one and goes all the way around the boards. Danny Cockrell with a touch. Will Daniels takes over. And it's Utah still with it. In the corner there, puck kind of disappears a little bit. And Josh Dangle with a backhanded pass that's briefly intercepted, but Oregon not able to do anything with it. Nick Shabara having to skate back and forth in his own zone, and then Zach Foss fell down with it, a shot well wide from Johnson. And now Foss again, he took a stick to the skates, but no penalty appears that it will be called. Joe Hoover taps it for Pat Taylor, but not collected, and a good stick check there from Patrick Scarlotta, keeping that one from going anywhere, and more whistles after the play. So every bit a championship game so far. 2-0 Utes, 3:28 left officially.
This is one we're definitely going to see get pretty chippy throughout the entire game, regardless of the score. It's just one of those games, everything's on the line.
Well, and Scarlotta was about to dig in for the faceoff, but now is replaced by Jesse Leonard. That was tapped forward to the point for Utah. Another one tries to get through, and there's a Burton Early that was about to take that one on a wraparound. Utah still with it. It's Seastrand. Seastrand behind the net. Utah player lost the stick. There's a penalty coming up again against Oregon. The third one of the game. No penalties so far, or one power play rather so far for the Ducks, but another one against Utah as looks almost like he scored as Ben Seastrand getting high fives going back to the bench for drawing that one. Interference, the call against the Ducks. So crowded penalty boxes for both teams as Patrick Scarlatta, the Duck captain, takes a seat. Both referees did seem to see that one at one time. I didn't get a chance to see it just because of the bodies I have to see through here.
What it was is stick went down right on the far side, right in front of the Danny's crease there, and Patrick Scarlatta gave it a little tap towards the boards, probably more than a little tap, but ref's right on it.
Well, you don't want to knock another player's stick away, so I mean, I think certainly a good call if that's indeed what happened, although you understand what Scarlatta did. You don't want a goal that goes in because it takes some weird bounce off of a discarded stick, but if it's against the rules, it's against the rules, and if the referee makes the call, you got to live with it. So Oregon to the penalty kill again. They've looked all right on the penalty kill today, but they have given up one power play goal. The shot through hits the chest of Danny Cockrell and goes out in front. Utah has Barnes converging in, the save made by Cockrell. Deflected up into the netting. The faceoff is going to be to Danny's right with 2:27 left in the game and 1:23 left on the penalty to Scarlatta. .227 as we said, and 2-0 the score. Utah leading in this game. It will be the Ducks' final game of the year, win or lose. Utah will play some more hockey in regionals and then very likely nationals as well. And a shot there. It's saved by Cockrell. That was number 4, Curtis Coons, making the save for Utah. .108 left now on the penalty to Scarlatta. Utes win the faceoff. They thought about the one-timer, instead a little bit delayed. Shot still comes from the point, still saved by Cockrell, still up into the netting. And the faceoff won by the Utes again, so their power play has looked very strong. It has only led to one goal, but that one goal was very important. It was the first of the game. Utes still trying to work something. Save made by Cockrell. Puck loose in front, and Danny's got it. So 1:53 left in this game, or in this period rather. A lot of game left after that. In fact, 2 periods left after this one. Jake Yale finally able to get a clearance there for the Ducks with 43 seconds left on the penalty to Patrick Scarlatta. 1:41 left in the first period. Utah stands behind their own net, and now they move up ice. That's Newell with it. Newell goes down under his own power. And a big hit into the boards there, thrown by Seastrand, and it's going to draw a penalty.
That's definitely a boarding if
checking from behind, in fact, the call, but very similar penalty there. We'll see if it's just the 2 minutes or if there's anything more going on.
It's tough, you know. You definitely want to play hard if you're Utah, which obviously they're successful at right now. They're out there, not a team to really take it easy regardless of who you're playing.
And it is just 2 minutes for Seastrand. So not a great check and not a great position to make that check in. The checking from behind at this level will be called almost every time. As it should be. It's kind of a play that's got not much of a place in the game, and they're doing a lot at the youth hockey level trying to just get that out of it. You might see, if you know any young hockey players, a lot of youth teams have a stop sign at about shoulder level on the back of their jerseys. Just if you can see the numbers, don't make the hit. And it's very hard when that hasn't been coached from a young level to get players to learn that now. But it's just not a safe play, and it's good to see USA Hockey taking the initiative to just get that out of the game from the time these guys are 6, 7, 8 years old before they're even really in check leagues. Now Taryn Donnelly with the shot from the point, rebound, and that one was a bit dangerous, but Utah able to move up with it. The 4-on-4 is over. Oregon now to the power play. And it's Alex Selitzer with it. Selitzer with a pass, tried to find Campbell, but it was not particularly close to him, so Oregon has to go backwards to get it. Campbell now tries to flip it forward, and Barnes with it. Barnes goes down. Campbell still trying to battle for that one and get some kind of shooting opportunities for the Ducks. They have not looked very strong offensively. We've got just about 8 seconds left in the period, and the puck may be glued to the boards for the whole time. A shot from Hoover, but it doesn't get through, and that will do it for the first period of play. Utah leads 2-0, a very strong first period from the Utes, but we have still got a game left here. Oregon really has been a little bit their own worst enemy in this period. They have just not skated 5-on-5 very often, and that's exactly what they said they wanted to avoid doing. But, you know, as it happens, you can only play with the cards that you're dealt, and after one period, it is Utah 2, Oregon 1. Oregon's going to start the second period with a 38-second carryover power play. For now, though, Dylan and I will take a break. We will turn the mics off, but keep the camera rolling, or keep the graphics rolling, rather, and we will have a brief break here. So do not go anywhere. 2-0 Utah after 20 minutes. Second period time here in South Lake Tahoe, California for the PAC-8 crown. Utah, I think maybe you can say as expected, jumped out to the early lead in this game. Now and then they were able to make it a 2-0 lead, but Oregon doing an okay job of weathering the storm as they do take the ice here, led out by Danny Cockrell. For Oregon, the story of that first period, unfortunately, continues to be penalties. And, they took several penalties in that period. Power play goal for Utah, rather. And then the big thing, a 10-minute misconduct was doled out to Trevor McCarty. Eric Gossers also took a 10 for Utah. And then Trevor Schott took a double minor for roughing. And then 2 minors each called against Utah. So that was that sequence where we saw 3 players for Utah go to the box, 2 for Oregon, and it's still evened out. So everything done by the rules here. Oregon, it's not up on the scoreboard right now, but they will start the period with a bit of a carryover power play for about 38 seconds, as they'll have to look at the score sheet, confirm the times, and put that back up. I'm going to take a quick break here while I can still get a drink in before this period. Dylan, any thoughts while I'm doing so?
Yeah, we actually have our own Utah's own Matt Coma over there in the box working score sheet for us. Came over and confirmed that there was that 38 seconds left on the penalty, the power play for Oregon. If you're unfamiliar, actually, Matt Coma is the brother of the Skating Utes goalie, and
Yeah, indeed, Dylan. And Coma also came over to give us a shot tally for that one, 23-10 in favor of Utah. My reaction to that was it seemed like I had a hard time thinking of 10 Duck shots. They were just, it's not even that they were so much that outplayed, they just didn't really spend any time in the Utah zone. We saw the same thing yesterday, but Oregon was able to, counteract that and still able to come up with the win. Obviously today, so far a bit of a different story. And this second period, Dylan, I think is going to be huge for Oregon. You don't want to go into the third down big, and also for the Ducks, playing their third game in 3 days with travel then and now. Very big just to avoid fatigue. You don't want to make life too difficult in the third period. So it is going to be a different unit out there to start the second. The Trevors, Schott, and McCarty along with Alex Sulitzer. And then on defense, Will Daniels and Joe Hoover. So Sulitzer had it there. Now Will Daniels. Daniels flipped it to Sulitzer, and Sulitzer just throws it on net, and Coma will cover. And if those are kind of the shots, quote unquote, that Oregon is really able to get on Utah so far. But a good start for the Ducks. They do start on a very brief power play, as I mentioned, 22 seconds left on the checking from behind call to Ben Seastrand. We're playing hockey again. The music is still going on. Ducks with a one-time opportunity, but they couldn't get it through, and that was by far the best Oregon opportunity of the game. No shot, though, and now Utah doing a good job of pressuring. They get a clear here, and that's going to do it for the Duck penalty with 5 seconds left on it. Utah moving in. Puck is still loose in front. A shot thrown through, but good save by Danny Cockrell on the effort from Seamus Bertinoli. 19-19 left. We're back to even strength here. And the brief shooting advantage that the Ducks had in the first period has been equalized. Dylan, any thoughts?
It's the name of the game for the Ducks so far is passing. They're just, lacking every single. They'll get it up through their defensive zone at the blue line and look towards that second blue line every single time. Just get depossessed right there.
Absolutely, and right now they had to go backwards with it in their own zone again, as Patrick Scarlatta tried to get it off to Jesse Leonard. Now Leonard tried to get it across ice. It hit a skate for Utah, and they had to get back onside. Leonard again, and just shielded away from the puck is Leonard. Seastrand with it as he's out of the box now, has been for several moments. Now Utah entering the zone. Utah shooting and doesn't get through. Puck comes through, and now the Ducks with a chance to move out. Jesse Leonard just does flip the puck forward through the neutral zone there, and Oregon gets a line change, as does Utah. And moving up ice are the Utes. Long pass, but that was too far out in front, and they'll say it was just tipped enough. No ice, no offside. Ducks pass that one over for Trevor Schott. Schott tries to move around, and down he goes. Collapsing on top of Schott are several players. Schott did take a double minor earlier in the first period for roughing. after a skirmish in front of goal. Big hit thrown there by Michael Luke, knocks his man down. Good clean check from number 18. That's a bad giveaway for the Ducks. The shot, good save. Cockrell, he's in a bad position though, and the puck was bouncing around, and Oregon eventually able to get it out there and save Cockrell there. Now shot with Yale, backhand shot. Puck is loose in front somewhere and moved away by the Utes. It's in the corner, and Utah moving up, but a giveaway there for the Utes. Behind the net, it's Trevor Schott with it. Shot with Jake Yale in front of goal. Oregon now still trying to really move it. This is the first sustained offensive zone possession we've seen in a while from the Ducks. As shot goes down, shot from the Ducks though, from Jake Yale there, doesn't go through. Another one wide for the Ducks. Trevor Schott still out there. This is not entirely his line. Shots out there along with Jake Yale and Alex Solitzer, so 2/3 of the top line. Shot for Trevor is saved by Chris Coma, and Trevor is sent flying.
Great sustained offensive possession for the Ducks there. They had really all the time in the world to put that in the back of the net. Maybe not so much the position as the Utes are extremely well at playing the body, you know, just taking away and cutting down angles.
Well, now back for the Ducks, puck bouncing around, and it's going to be just chipped forward, kept in the zone though by Will Daniels, and not able to collect that one was Chris Campbell. Now it's Utah moving up. Utah just onside, that shot goes wide. Hit thrown there by the Ducks. Joe Hoover is going to go back to collect that one. We've got a penalty coming up called by the back referee. That's Levitt making the call, interference against the Ducks. And it is Chris Campbell, so it was Campbell on that hit. I think that was calling it very tight, but a call that I can't really disagree with it.
You know, he definitely got a blue line. Chris Campbell, I think he didn't do it on purpose, got inadvertently tied up with the Utah player, but still, you know, that's a rule. You gotta call it.
You gotta follow the rules, Dylan, and we've just gotta call the game as it happens. So back to the penalty kill go the Ducks. Big opportunity for Utah and a lot of pressure on the Ducks. Oregon tries to clear this one, but Utah able to sustain possession. And now finally Oregon does almost get it cleared. Now they'll get it just barely across that blue line. No, it never actually left the zone, said the linesman there, and he was right on top of it, but now it does, and goes all the way as far as Coma. So Utah standing behind their own net on the power play. 1:26 left on the interference penalty to Oregon's number 36, Chris Campbell. Moving forward now go the Utes. It's Samuel Wilson with it. Wilson still with it, and he goes for the centering pass. Now the shot from Coons into the equipment of Danny Cockrell with a minute and 11 left on the penalty to Campbell. 16 minutes exactly left in this middle frame, and Oregon still trails Utah 2-0.
Still a lot of game to be played if you're Oregon, but they definitely got to tighten up the penalties they've been taking. That's a big problem they've had throughout the season, and it's tough to handle right now in the championship game.
Absolutely is, Dylan, and it's really, you know, like you said, it's been a problem at times this season. Here's an opportunity for Dangle. Dangle moving around with it and now gets it back out to Barnes. Barnes with the shot that he tried to maybe find a deflection for, did not get through, and it's Dangle behind the net for the Utes. Now it's in front, and a great save once again from Danny Cockrell, who is keeping Oregon in this game.
Danny Cockrell, a huge part of their defense. You know, we've seen him time and time again throughout the season just make amazing saves, as well as Coma, though. He's got a great matchup across the sheet, directly across from him. You know, it's a great goaltender as well.
Yeah, and we have the third team All PAC-8 in Danny Cockrell and the first team All PAC-8 in Chris Coma goaltenders here. I think that Danny Cockrell's stats maybe don't show how good of a goaltender he is. I think that there's certainly some in the Oregon camp that felt he should have been the 2 or maybe even the first team All PAC-8 goaltender, but Coma so far showing why he is the first team All PAC-8 goalie. Bertinoli's going to go back to collect that behind the net for the Utes there. They go for the stuff, does Utah, and Danny Cockrell is right there. And once again, extracurriculars in front of net. Tweet, tweet, tweets go those whistles with 7 seconds left on the penalty to Campbell. We'll see if we have any penalties called here. Seastrand is skating toward the bench slash box area. Always pretty impossible to tell at this rink who's skating to the bench and who's skating to the box. The Utah penalty box door does appear to be opening though, as does the Oregon one. So referees just trying to call matchings left and right here. It's going to be Joe Hoover for the Ducks, and could not see the number of the Utah youth there going in. We'll see. Unlikely that they will put them on the board if they're just going to make them matchings. Better in this period, Dylan, for the Ducks?
So far, they have looked a little bit better offensively. Passing still something left. It leaves something to be desired for the Ducks, but I think definitely they can tighten things up. If they get down by just one goal, it's still an open game. Obviously, a lot left to be played.
So it is Joe Hoover for 2 minutes for the Ducks. You get to see the Utah player's number go up there, but there was a Ute that skated to the box, so we're just going to be delayed here, and it's going to be 4-on-3 briefly. And we'll see still no Utah number up on the penalty board.
Coma opting to switch sticks possibly, didn't really gave his stick to one of his teammates, and looks like they'll skate a replacement back to him.
So interesting there. I don't know if maybe something chipped or if he just didn't like the feel. Nothing that has indicated to us that there's been any equipment issue for Coma.
Goalies definitely are, they can be a bit superstitious, so it's always hard to tell exactly what they have on their mind.
Well, we have a 5-on-3 for Utah right now, and we'll see. I'm not sure, but such is life, and this is a very delicate situation for Oregon with a very good power play unit for the Utah Utes out there. Now it's back to 5-on-4 as Campbell's penalty has expired. Utes trying to move it behind the net. That's off the stick of Cockrell. It's loose still loose, and Oregon able to get a half clear and now a little bit more into the neutral zone. 1:35 left on the penalty to Hoover.
That was a close one.
And Solitzer is had a tap there in the Utah zone on the penalty kill rather. We've seen the Ducks be very aggressive historically on their penalty kill. I'm not sure that Utah is really a squad you want to poke that bear with. But if it can get the Ducks a goal, as it did get them a big short-handed goal yesterday, then that's going to be that'll be good for them. Here's Seastrand with it. Seastrand shooting save. Cockrell kicked aside on the rebound, and now another clearing attempt, but Utah able to get in front of that halfway through the penalty to Hoover. And now finally it goes the length of the ice to that brand new stick of Chris Coma. And a touch for Barnes. Utah starts from behind their own net on the power play. 45 seconds left on that power play. Moving with it here is Bertinoli. Bertinoli now gets around Chris Stankovic. And back to the point go the Utes. Now back to the corner and back behind the cage. Chris Stankovic trying to pursue that. And it's Andrew Wood with it there for the Utes. Wood still with it, very strong on it. Bertinoli tried to stuff it in, and now Patrick Scarlatta gets the clear.
Great clear there, but if you're the Ducks, you got to be worried. Bertinoli on that last offensive possession, skating with speed into the offensive zone, literally untouched.
Well, and here's Cornelius now, and he goes down into the boards. Now another Ute going behind the net. Good stick there from Michael Luke. Stops that one, and Chris Stankovic gets to it, but Oregon still not able to clear. Now here, maybe they've got a chance to move up ice. They'll think about it with Nick Shabara and Jake Yale. Shabara tried to flip it forward for Yale, but it was intercepted. And now here come the Utes, but that one too far out in front of Otley, who almost ran into the referee there. We've only seen one referee fall in this tournament. That's something Dylan and I will always look for. Here's Trevor Schott with a shoot in there. Behind the net go the Ducks. Alex Solitzer with it. Solitzer flips it behind the net. Trevor Schott will try to get to that one. There's a Utah player out there without a stick. And Solitzer just does keep that in the zone. No, he does. Well, interesting there. The linesman that was on the blue line swung his arms, no offside. The linesman that was the back linesman thought differently.
And you know, the linesman right on the blue line, that's his call. You know, he's you gotta wonder, that's his call to make. I'm not entirely sure what that was there, but you know, they'll talk it over, get it worked out.
And I'm not really sure what you can do to make that right for the Ducks. I don't think that they really have cause to bring that face-off all the way into the Utah zone, but just unfortunate for Oregon there. It's not that, I'm not going to go out and say that the penalties they've been taking have been bad calls, because I think they've been good calls. They've been taking a lot of penalties, and things they haven't really gotten a break. And then when they do get, finally are able to get it in the zone like that, they get kind of the unfortunate situation there. So we'll see. It looks like we are going to have a neutral zone face-off, as if the offside call had been called by the guy whose call it was to begin with. And Oregon gets a change here, as does Utah. And Utah thinks better of their change. Oregon now moving in. And good job by Solitzer to just stop that one. They get it to Trevor McCarty, and he can't put it through. McCarty now no longer serving that 10-minute misconduct. And Ahern with the pass to Bertinoli with a long shoot in there. Ahern crunched into the boards hard by Schott. Still behind the net now for Utah. Penalty coming up, and it's going to be against the Ducks once more. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's against neither team.
What is going on here?
Both goalies are attempting to leave the net. And now another misconduct has been called there, as Levitt apparently does not like being argued with at all.
You know, that's poor officiating for both sides. I mean, both teams were wondering exactly what they did. You know, both teams touched the puck. I don't know.
And I can guarantee you that the reason that misconduct was called, at least it looked like a misconduct was called, the referee went to both hips, is that there were some magic words said. Come on though, man. I mean, if you're going to call a penalty and allow both teams to touch the pucks without a whistle, I don't think you've got any reason to be upset that people are going to be yelling at you for that. The call itself may have been a good call. I'm not sure still what was called, but it is Will Daniels whose number is up there, and that's just confusing for me. I'm going to make every effort not to call out officials there, but
it's confusing for both sides, as Utah thought maybe, they took the penalty, they touched it up, and then got no whistle, and then the Ducks touched it up, and then got no whistle, and then
and the whistle, when the whistle eventually came, it was right after Utah had touched the puck, so it's very confusing here, and Oregon's bench understandably wants an explanation.
Well, every skater on the ice was just kind of gliding around as if to, really questioning what exactly was going on. No one really skating very hard at all. Super confusing out of the ref. I'm not sure what he was thinking.
Well, Will Daniels is in the box, and it looks like can't quite see the number there of the other player who must have been called for the 10-minute misconduct. Utah with the shooting opportunity is Coons, and the save from Danny Cockrell. 11:23 left. Second period. So once again, the Ducks, through most of the first half of this second period, are playing right up with Utah. But then it was 2 goals in the last 10 minutes of the first period that put the Utes in. That puts the Utes in this position. And now the clear from Trevor McCarty, and the Ducks get a change on the penalty kill. Whole new group out there. And trying to move up ice with Samuel Wilson with the entry pass. Back behind, all the way around go the Utah Utes, and still with it is Seastrand. Finally it squirts loose. And now 25 Ahern with it. And Chris Stankovic has the opportunity to clear. He does.
Great offensive mind by Chris Coma there to flip it all the way to the beginning of their offensive zone, trying to get it, trying to get an offensive possession there.
Well, and that's something that we've seen goaltenders at this tournament do, and even Coma's made a couple 2-line passes so far. Ahern with it now, though, for Utah. chopped away at there. Patrick Scarlotta on the ice and a big hit there thrown by Michael Luke. You might hear that one said very often. Good stick there. Diving stick check from Scarlotta. Stankovic with a touch, and now Oregon with a chance to clear. That one I think hit the, I think that hit the top of the boards between the, above the boards below the glass. No offside. Ahern skating in. One timer. No signal, and I think Danny made that save. Outstanding save from Danny Cockrell.
Wow. Talk about standing on your head.
Interference called against somebody. Pat Taylor has his hands up as if he can't believe something. And welcome to the ref show. You have to allow, I'm sorry, I'm trying as hard as I can to be neutral. You have to allow for something when people are crashing the goaltender after the play. This is a college hockey game. And this is not, more importantly, Dylan, this is not how they've been officiating this tournament.
No, you know, they've been out of character, actually. We've seen them very...
They've really done a great job.
It's more that they've been letting the players play. You know, they've let it get physical, not to the point of getting chippy or any fights or anything. I think they've done a great job up until this point of really letting it get physical and let all the teams play.
They have a penalty shot coming up, I believe, on an interference call. So, unfortunate for Danny Cockrell, he's going to have to face a penalty shot here, and it looks like Burton Ole's going to take it. Is that a 16 or an 18?
That's an 18. Well, that's a great question.
So big moment here just over the halfway point in this hockey game. Oregon down 2. Here comes Burton Ole. Goes around, tries to beat Cockrell. He doesn't put it home. And the big opportunity blown there for Utah. And now that it is in the goal, you like that it was a penalty shot instead of anything else because there's no more penalty to kill off. No 5-on-3 here. I'm not sure that Cockrell actually made that save. It might have just been put wide. But he was in the good position. A nice move there from Burton Ole nonetheless.
You know, I think both teams are going to have to be wary of exactly what the refs are going to call here. They seem to be tossing him out immediately for that miscue.
And McDonald with it now. He shoots, and it's off the foot of Trevor Schott. 2 seconds left on the penalty to Daniels. He's up and out of the box. And backwards to Hoover. Hoover to Taryn Donnelly. Donnelly tried to find Trevor McCarty. Shot for Ahern. One-time opportunity for Utah. They're not able to put it home. Their fans can't believe it.
That was a great opportunity, too. Looked like it just barely went off the post.
So here's Selitzer now. Selitzer just gains the red line and flips it forward. And a big hit there thrown from Alex, but Utah able to move up ice. Barnes with it there for the Utes. Barnes just knocked Zach Foss down off the play. That's going to draw a penalty. And at least that one has been called consistently. Still not, you know, I will definitely acknowledge there was not a lot in that. But they have made that call. They made that particular call both ways, and it was Levitt making that call.
Yeah, you know, hard to tell if that was just incidental, to be quite honest. Like you said, they've called that consistently throughout the whole tournament. That's tough.
And Foss, no stranger to taking those big hits. Kind of one of the jokes in the room for the Ducks. He referred to some things as getting fossed. He's just seems to always manage to take some big hits. That one not too big, but it was enough to knock him off his feet and enough to draw the penalty. 2 minutes interference. So it is Barnes there. I'll give you a first name. It's David Barnes for Utah. 2-minute penalty and an opportunity here for Oregon. It's an important one if they can maybe get something going on the power play. Nick Shabara will dig in for the faceoff. Zach Foss still out there along with Chris Campbell. This has been a good performing line for the Ducks so far in this tournament. Joe Hoover over to Taryn Donnelly. Taryn Donnelly back to Hoover. Hoover to Campbell, who lost track of it there and has to tap it around to Shabara, and now Taryn Donnelly will go all the way. Shabara there. Still with it is Shabara, and now it says Taryn Donnelly. Donnelly to Hoover. Hoover back to Donnelly. Donnelly, they go for the deflection there. Good look from the Ducks, but Utah able to clear all the way down the length of the ice.
Great clear by Utah. They're going to be able to get that.
It looks like there were 2 penalties called against Utah there. So 5-on-3 for the Ducks. Also skating into the box for them was Chase McDonald. So real big chance for the Ducks here. Nick Shabara with it as Oregon has a 5-on-3 opportunity, but they are down 2-0 in the 2015 PAC-8 championship game. Taron Donnelly rips one through. It's saved Coma. Nick Shabara now moving around. Shabara waits for his man to make a move. They go for the one-timer there, couldn't get it home. Hoover now, and it's fired again. Nick Shabara goes for the extended wraparound. They go to Joe Hoover. He flips a shot through, but it's deflected up high, and pounding on the boards are the Utah fans and players.
Boy, Coma really showing why he's first team.
And Joe Hoover now. Hoover thought about a shot, thought about a pass, then made a different pass. And now a chance for Utah to clear, but it's a good stop by Taron Donnelly. Keeps that one in the zone. Now Utah allows the puck to squirt out. Danny Cockrell goes up all the way to those curling dots and makes a pass off the boards for Trevor McCarty. McCarty now back to Solitzer. Solitzer tries to find McCarty with it. He does. McCarty had to catch that one. Stankovic flips one all the way through. That one was wide of the cage. One-timer opportunity for McCarty, but he didn't put it home. And again, it's McCarty. Still Trevor, the best tear in the PAC-8, as awarded at the PAC-8 banquet. And now it's Barnes, and he does get the clearance, but Chris Stankovic gets to it just past the Oregon blue line, so the Ducks go for a line. That's going to do it for the 5-on-3. Back to even strength for Utah, and that will be a penalty against the Utes. They're upset with that one, and immediately after the hit, the Utah player put both arms up there. And
you know, I think that's justified because
yeah, there wasn't a lot in it.
I don't know about that one.
I'm not sure if maybe he hit him a little bit up high or if there was an elbow involved, but I think if you're Utah, you certainly have the right to be upset about that call.
Speaking of questionable calls, do we even know what that second penalty was?
You know, I never saw an indication. We'll have to maybe see if we can get a look at a score sheet during the intermission, but right back to the power play go the Ducks, still trailing 2-0. And Trevor McCarty digs in for the faceoff. The Oregon fans trying to make a little noise as McCarty is kicked out of the faceoff dot, replaced by Alex Solitzer. Trevor Schott, the other offensive player for the Ducks on this power play, he shoots high and wide. And Michael Luke out there and defense. And now Utah's going to try and maybe move up ice. Instead, they'll just clear on the 5-on-4. Danny Cockrell goes all the way to get that one. And now back for Chris Stankovic. Stankovic stands behind his own net, tries to make Ahern commit, and then gets it to Michael Luke. Luke just being left alone in his own zone, and now he's going to get it all the way through the neutral zone, does Michael. Avoids a check there, and Michael Ahern sends himself into the boards. Coma flips it out. And Luke tried to jump up to keep that one. He couldn't get it, and Danny Cockrell has to tap it for Chris Stankovic. Stankovic dangerously playing that one towards his own goal with Danny a couple steps in front of him. And a minute 13 left on the penalty. Zach Foss with it now. Foss is hit hard there. And now a chance for Utah shorthanded. Puck goes behind the net. Here are the Utes. Caden Otley now. That was in a dangerous position for a moment there. Now Nick Shabara along with Campbell. Here comes Scooby for the Ducks. He turns around and now he'll go back, tries to get it to Hoover at the point. Hoover now back to Shabara. Shabara passes back behind the goal. Ducks try to get it. They may. It's loose in front somewhere, and Utah's going to start up ice. Here come the Utes. Shorthanded opportunity. Utah still with it. 2-on-1 shorthanded. We saw this from the Ducks, but a good save from good shot sent wide, rather. Danny looked like he was in a good position. And now Chris Campbell tries to move around Otley one way, then the other. Campbell still with it and forces the save out of Coma. Coma showed 5-hole there and then just slammed the barn doors closed. And Nick Shabara going for the deflection there in front. Cody Dries and his group is out there. Shot from Toller did not get anywhere to speak of. Goes all the way for Taron Donnelly to flip that one through. Utah again able to clear, and the penalty is over, so we're back to 5-a-side hockey. 4:24 left in this second period. Oregon has played, I think, a lot better in this second period, but they still haven't been able to put one home despite a couple of good opportunities. But how big would one goal be for them in these last 4 minutes and 13 seconds of the period? Pat Taylor tried to center that one, but it hit the skate of a Utah unit. Now up ice go the Utes. A slap shot there goes high and wide. Just kept in the zone there by the Utes, but they couldn't control it. And Cody Dries flipped that one into the neutral zone. Oregon had to work to stay on side there. Dries is off the ice. Pat Taylor's group out there now. And it looks like it's actually when they finish the change, it'll be the top line. And offside called there. The shot was saved by Cockrell nonetheless.
Ooh, boy, that one was called pretty close. You know, they've been calling those lines close all game, but interesting.
So 2-0 still to score. No goals in this period. Utah scored both of their goals in the last 10 minutes of the first period as Alex Sulitzer digs in for the faceoff against McDonald. McDonald wins it himself and threw that one above the goal. Made Danny think about it though. And now they try and get it through the Utes. That's Eric Gossers with it. Gossers involved in that skirmish in the first period that led to one 10-minute misconduct for each team. He took it for Utah. Trevor McCarty took it for the Ducks. One-time opportunity for the Utes. That shot goes wide. And now behind the goal, Ahern there for Utah. He's going to try and get it to Johnson at the point. And it's still glued against the boards there. Utah tries to keep it in. They're not able to, so Gossers moving backwards with it himself as Utah gets back on side. Trevor Schott whacks his stick down, but Utah still with the puck. And the shot ends up behind the net. Danny Cockrell fell down in his own crease, but got back up before there was another shot that could come through. 2:46 left second period. Oregon just really feel like they need to get a goal here. Going to be a very tough ask in the third period if they don't. Puck bouncing around in front, penalty coming up high, sticking the call. Did not see which team touched that right before the call. There were a lot of folks that had their sticks up high, and somebody must have caught a face mask there.
Players from both sides with high sticks, not really sure who they called that one on. I think they're just saying that
it was played with a high stick, so no penalty. And we're back playing hockey here. It's Zach Foss. Foss tries to get it to Chris Campbell. A little bit sloppy of a pass, but eventually back to Foss and now back to Campbell as they get the zone onside. Chris Campbell now in the corner. Campbell trying to get it back to Stankovic at the point. That door was shut though, and he'll have to think of something else in the corner. They go back between Campbell and Foss, and now it's Utah with it behind the Ducks goal. Or their own goal rather. Now Utah breaking up. Even strength break, 2-on-2 here. Nice job there by the Ducks to get rid of that one though. Seastrand lost control of it. Chris Stankovic now is pickpocketed by Bertinoli. And the slap shot from Bertinoli right into the glove of Danny Cockrell, and I think we're starting to see that Utah is playing their second game in 2 nights, but Oregon is playing their third game in 3. Starting to kind of show fatigue factor for Oregon there, particularly when they're moving through the neutral zone. And you know, you gotta go at full speed for 60 minutes in a championship game like this with 1:50 left in the second period. 2-0 still to score. It's looked a lot better for Oregon, but they still haven't been able to put one home. Pat Taylor flips that one forward. And Taylor does his best to try and keep that one alive, but Utah able to collect it and move out. That one thrown down all the way and gonna be...
It's gonna be icing.
Well, much to the dismay of the Utah Utes, because Danny Cockrell touched that puck. I'm not sure if it crossed the red line before he did, but Utah's upset, and I would certainly say they have a reason to be. That faceoff does look like it's going to come possibly to the neutral zone, and somehow Michael Luke, I think, managed to take a penalty on that. Might have not been the penalty box door, although it does look like he's leaning on something. And his number is up there for 2 minutes, so that's a new one, even for Michael Luke, I think.
You know, I guess it was not an icing, but just the penalty on Mike Luke that got called when Danny touched the puck. Not sure.
Anybody's guess, and we have another penalty coming up. It is going to go against the Ducks, and it is a high sticking call. 1:22 left officially. And another one of those just played with the high stick. The referee had the delayed whistle there, a little misleading, but no 5-on-3, just a 5-on-4. Oregon trying to clear here, they're not able to. Utah setting up. Dangle with the pass, and the shot just wide of the cage. Oregon trying to chop at that one to get it clear. They still can't get possession of the puck, and down go a few guys there. And Oregon now short-handed. It's Trevor's shot. He just has a shoot in there once he had some opportunity in the neutral zone. Oregon changes most of their line, although Alex Selitzer is still out there. Selitzer trying to chop at the stick of the Utah Ute there, and another nice play from Chris Campbell. And Campbell took a shove there from Michael Ahern, I think a cross-checking high stick, so calling it tight, I think, for both teams.
And yeah, that's what I was talking about, you know.
It doesn't really fit how they've been calling the rest of this tournament. It's not like they've been missing calls left and right, but they've just been sort of calling it with a degree of let the boys play, and not so much tonight for both teams. So Oregon, you know, Oregon has taken more penalties, but they always seem to take more penalties, and some calls are going against Utah that I think the Utes bench is a little upset with, as well as some of the calls against Oregon. And you know, you can see some of they've been very tight. Here's a shot from Trevor McCarty, save made in front. And now Seastrand with a shot, blocked by Joe Hoover. 4-on-4 for 50 more seconds on the penalty to Luke. Good kick save there from Danny Cockrell. And kept in the zone by Seastrand. Bouncing in front, and Danny's gonna have to collect it with 8 seconds left in the period. So that faceoff's going to be in the duck zone, and really important. You do not need 8 seconds to score off of the faceoff, and it would be absolutely backbreaking for Oregon if Utah would score here. I think for the Ducks, you just want to kind of muddy the waters here, and you know that's exactly what they'll do. Is Joe Hoover has no problem with just having that puck sandwiched between him and the boards. That's going to do it for the second period. Much better look for the Ducks in the second period. They are going to need a big third period to win the PAC-8 or to push this one to overtime. I think an overtime game would all but guarantee the Ducks miss their flight, but I don't know that they would mind. 2-0 the score after 2 periods, a scoreless second period. Danny Cockrell still playing well, but the Ducks know they have a lot to do in the third period. Dylan and I will take a quick break, and we will be back with you for the third period. Well, 20 minutes for every single marble in the Pacific 8 Conference. Oregon is down 2-0, but it was 2 goals scored by Utah in the last 10 minutes of the first period, a scoreless second period, obviously, for each team. So for the Ducks, it's going to be of paramount importance to get that first goal. Really, I think if Utah scores this first goal in this third period, I don't want to say it would be a game winner, but it would really be almost as good as done. If Oregon can get this first goal, then all of a sudden it's a one-goal hockey game, and all you need to do is get another one by and maybe force some OT. The PAC-8 trophy and the awkward cousin, the PAC-8 runner-up trophy, has both been brought into the scorer's booth, and they will be awarded in 20 minutes. The question is, to which team? As it stands right now, it would be the Utah Utes. They would be the favorites, and they will still move on in this season. They will play in regionals, and almost certainly they will play in nationals. Oregon, they will get on a plane almost immediately after this game, and in fact, I think the other folks on that plane might hope that Oregon had a little bit more time to shower, because it's going to be a fun experience for everyone on that plane who's not a hockey player. It's going to be a van ride over to Reno literally right after this game, and going to be pushing it to make the flight. Win or lose, it's going to be a very quick exit for the Ducks, and Utah, much in the same way, has got to pile up in a bus and drive back to Salt Lake.
8 hours is their trip back to Salt Lake. I'm sure that'll be just fun, just fun.
So here we go. We have a 4-on-4 carrying over from the end of the period, and Dylan and I were talking about this during the intermission. The referees they're calling this very, very tight. And it's not that they're calling things that aren't happening, but they in some ways aren't calling things with respect to this being a championship game. You'd like to see them maybe let the boys play a little more. Here we go though. Third period championship game, we're underway, and Oregon trails, like we said, 2-0. So the pass to Shabara. It is 4-on-4 here, and now here's an opportunity for Utah. The shot save, Cockrell. And this first goal just so important here, and Oregon would love to be the ones to get that goal and get one by Chris Coma. Dangle reaches for it now, can't get it, but it's kept in the Duck zone. Chris Stankovic has it there, and now Trevor Schott had the puck and lost it, and Utah trying to get it through here. Bertinoli now thought about a shot, waited for it to shoot later. Taron Donnelly with it behind the net for the Ducks. 19-16 left in the Ducks season one way or another. Alex Sulzer flips it into the corner. Trevor McCarty's going to go and try to get that one. They go for the wraparound to the Ducks, and not able to get that shot through. Oregon is on a brief power play here after the Utah portion of the 4-on-4 expired, but only 18 seconds left on that Duck penalty, or Duck power play we should say. And here comes Oregon up the ice, pass too far out in front of Darren Toller there. And Joe Hoover now behind the net. Puck sticking in the neutral zone here, and Hoover with another touch taps it toward the Ducks bench, and they had to be careful there not to take it too many men, as they've done a couple times this period. They're going to get called for another penalty here, and another one of those calls that might be right, might be wrong, but was certainly called very tight, although it did impact the play. So 18:21 left. As Oregon is called for the trip, it's Trevor Schott guilty. 18:21 left, Oregon to the penalty kill. And if nothing else, even if they don't score, these are 2 big minutes that are about to come off the board. Michael Luke with a backhanded clearance there, gets all the way down. Luke's been doing a good job of behaving himself today. There it is for Dangle, and Dangle has a little trouble keeping control of the puck, but now he does and sort of moves back with it. They're giving him a lot of space, are the Ducks. Dangle's shot through. It hits the pads of Cockrell, rebounds away. Try to keep that into the Utes, but it's out into the neutral zone, and they have to go backwards to get back onside. There it is for Barnes. Barnes with a shot gloved by Danny Cockrell. .122 left in this power play
for the Utes, you know, they're looking to get one more goal up, really get that dagger in the third period. 3, obviously, a lot harder to come back from 2. 2, difficult in its own right, but
yeah, hockey can be one of the hardest sports to come back from in the third period. There's a shot from Utah, bounces around, and that one hit a skate in front as there was a rebound opportunity there for the Utes for that all-important goal number 3. Ducks really trying to be the ones to get the first goal of the third period and just get one by the first-team All-PAC-8 goaltender Chris Coma for the Utah Utes. Once again, Utah still trying to work things out and get prepared for nationals and regionals here. Oregon, they're done, and Chris Campbell, I don't know if he's hurt or if he broke a skate plate there. He certainly doesn't look to be feeling great as he slowly gets to the bench. And all the way down the length of the ice it goes. Now a good pass made from Coma, but then trying to olay around a man. Utah lost the puck there. 30 seconds left on the penalty to Trevor Schott. Schott was called for tripping early in this third period. 16:43 left in the PAC-8 season. Alex Solitzer tries to get that one through. Ends up hitting some skates, but Solitzer's still with it. Alex with a little bit of speed. He just fires one on, forces a save and a rebound, and couldn't keep that one, but nice short-handed pressure being applied by the Ducks. As Darren Toller's going to have to chase that one down. He'll try to slide it to Taron Donnelly back behind the net. And we're back to even strength with Trevor Schott out of the box. And another whistle here, a hand pass called. 16:15 on the official clock here. And Chris Coma pitching a shutout for Utah right now.
So far, definitely a big period for both teams. We've seen the Ducks come out and skate with intensity. You know, they really want to get back into this game.
One, you know, it's so important. If you get that one goal, all of a sudden, you know, you're right back in it, where one fluky kind of bounce can tie the game up, but you can't really hope for 2 of those. I mean, one of them's enough to ask for. So Oregon needs to get one goal through here, and then that's going to really change the complexion of this game. As it stands, we've got Utah a little bit in kill the clock mode here, up 2-0 in the PAC-8 championship game. Killing the clock for Utah. Still a lot of offensive threat there for them as Ducks get tangled up with each other there. Pat Taylor and Cody Dries both tried to go for the same puck. Someone's playing without a stick right now. And it's finally cleared all the way down. Oregon gets a line change, but they'll have to go back. 15:39 left. What does Oregon have to do, Dylan?
You know, they are really going to have to step it up as far as passing. We've seen them kind of make, you know, really lackluster passes into the neutral zone when they're getting out, trying to get that breakout pass. They don't always find their forwards. We're going to need to see them really get out there and make crisp passes and try to get great offensive zones. What they'd like really for something to happen here, they'd really like to get on a power play and then get one of those breaks out. That'd give them a great chance. Well,
here is Patrick Scarlatta with it. And lost by the Ducks. Cody Dries has to knock that one behind him. Dries knocked down, no penalty called. And Seastrand gets around Will Daniels. Seastrand tried to fire the pass into the middle, but Joe Hoover kind of sat on the puck. And not able to control it cleanly there was Barnes for Utah, so they've got to go back and get back onside. Puck bouncing around, and Alex Solitzer with it. Solitzer, here's an opportunity. Solitzer and shot, but the shot from Alex Solitzer maybe should have made a pass there.
That's you know, definitely tough. Had two Utes really closing in on him there as he made it into the offensive zone. Could have kicked it over, but as we've seen them throughout the game, the Utes have really been able to get a stick on it and break up any passes they try to make into the slot.
Well, another shot there from the Ducks, and it bounced high after hitting Coma. Went behind the net, and now it's glued against the boards. We have another mystery horn here. Both teams stopped playing momentarily. And losing a stick on it was a Ute. Taron Donnelly trying to knock that one in. Now Darren Toller has to chase that one down. TD and DT on that defensive pair, not making it very easy. Duck goes down, and another penalty called against the Ducks. And another one of those very tight calls. There was a stick at the feet there, but Justin Lacassa, I don't think he's moved since that penalty has been called. Now finally takes the hands off his head. And, at this point, you have to just adjust to referees calling the game like that. 14:24 left officially. Oregon's already taken 2 penalties in this period.
And real stark contrast between our left side and our right side here. We met cheers from the Utah fans on our left, as well as some pretty loud opposition from the Duck fans on our right. So definitely split down right about 50-50 in this arena as far as fans go.
And somehow Oregon did take 2 penalties on that play, so 5-on-3 again for the Utes. As back behind the net in the corner go the Utes. They try the centering pass. Someone's lost a glove out there. Kick save from Cockrell. Utes trying to go with the give and goes here. Shot wide. Not sure who that second penalty was called on. The number is 00. The Utes have scored. It is 3-0. And that is a very important goal and going to make life very difficult for the Ducks. Out of the box is Trevor Schott, it looks like. So the 5-on-3 really coming back to bite the Ducks there. Still, again, not sure what the second call was. I saw one that was tight, but maybe the right call, and I don't know what the second penalty was. We're waiting to get one of them cleared off the boards here. Waiting to get the third goal put up there, too, as a matter of fact. Well, there's still only 2-0 showing on the scoreboard. I'm not sure if that's a delay or if there's something else afoot. The faceoff did come to center and it is offside. We'll keep an eye on that. I didn't see any indication it would be no goal, nor was there any reason that it shouldn't have been put up there.
No, and it's definitely going to count. We're skating with 4 Ducks on our right here, and they wiped one of those penalties off.
So they just seem to have forgotten to put goal number 3 on the board. Oregon will take it, but all 3 goals are still going to count. Now we get it right. And the face-off won back by Utah to their defense, but all the way back past the red line. Oregon has looked good when they have been able to play a 5-on-5 today, but hasn't been a whole lot of that. And now it gets to the point for Utah. Lost track of the puck, did the Utes, now they get it back. More give and go passing there, and shot hit a stick. Looks like it broke a little bit of that stick as both number 18s go tumbling into the corner. Another opportunity for the Utes. Good block there from Chris Stankovic. And that one fired on. Coons with the cross-ice pass. Back to Coons now. And now back kind of high point area there. They go for the one-time centering pass again to the Utes. They've really liked to make that play, and it's been good to them so far today. They lead 3-0. As it stands right now, they're going to walk toward the PAC-8 title, or PAC-8 championship, rather. Oregon, at this point, getting to the territory where what they need is a miracle. Was it over, though, Dylan, when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Oh, and we've got more whistles after the play, more extracurriculars. 12:18 left, third period. 3-0 Utes the score. 12:18 again is the time on the clock. And puck bouncing around there. All the way for Chris Campbell. Campbell to Zach Foss. Foss to Shabara, who tried to flip it to the middle. Now it goes back to Shabara, but just too far in front of him. He's going to have to sprint to get to it. He may still do so, though. It's Zach Foss now. Puck against the corner. Someone's been called for a penalty. It will be against the Utah Utes. So Taron Donnelly at the point went for the deflection there, did the Ducks, and now finally here comes the whistle. So power play coming up for the Ducks, and the biggest power play of the Oregon season. They trail 3-0. They can still come back in this game. It is a very tall order, and they almost certainly would have to score on this power play to do so.
Absolutely. You know, it is an extreme uphill battle right now. As far as it's gone so far in this PAC-8 championship, they haven't had a real strong offensive presence on the ice tonight. And you know, if they do want to get back into this and come back to tie it up, they have to switch that on right now.
Well, here they do get it to Joe Hoover. Hoover's got some offensive capabilities from the point, but he lays it off. Poor shot. Ducks still trying to get it on, but they put that shot wide. Now Will Daniels with it. He chips it for McCarty. It's into the corner now for Selitzer, but Barnes with it for the Utes. And now Dangle with it. Utah's going to try to start up ice here short-handed and maybe put this game away. Here's Ahern. Ahern gets in front, but they can't get the shot off. Barnes really wants the puck. He was tapping the stick hard there at the point, and Oregon now finally gets it away. Hoover with it for the Ducks on the power play. Down 3 goals, PAC-8 championship game. Will Daniels now with it. Daniels across the blue line onside. He fires a shot wide. And Alex Selitzer with it. Selitzer to Chris Campbell. Campbell back towards Selitzer. Selitzer moving around, and it's another clearance from Utah with 1:05 left on the penalty to the Utes number 26. That is Ellis Riley who took a seat there. Ducks still with it. Nick Shabara with some starts and stops. And all the way down the length of the ice to Danny Cockrell. Darren Toller now with it. 10:37 left. Utah starting to count down the seconds till their championship. Taron Donnelly tried to flip it to the middle. It comes for Darren Toller. He fanned on a shot, but somehow retained possession of the puck. Puck is loose in front, still loose, and Oregon going to try to take it around. Zach Foss there. Ducks with it behind the net. Foss with a shot, and it's saved by Coma. And the clearance there from the Utes. 10 seconds left on the penalty to Riley. That'll just about do it. Maybe one more rush if the Ducks really hurry, but not much of a sense of urgency here, and that's a little bit strange, down 3-0 in a championship game. Intercepted there by Andrew Wood for the Utes. Shot saved by Cockrell and deflects up into the netting with 9:45 left. And that trophy seems to be inching closer and closer to the grasps of the Utah Utes, and Oregon gonna have to find room in somebody's luggage for a second place trophy if nothing changes here.
Last 10 minutes of the third period, down 3, things are looking bleak for the Ducks.
And you just want to see them get some kind of offense going here. Who knows what they can do, maybe get in a position where you can pull Cockrell down a goal or down 2 goals, but down 3, it's a tough ask for sure. Michael Luke there lays a big hit. Keep track of how many times, once again, that we've said that. We're up to many today. And another pit collision there, and we do have a Utah Ute injured on the play. He lost his stick, and he's got something going on with his wrists. He's going to try to play, though. Almost scored. And Michael Luke's looking up like he wanted to have something to say. As that man was hit by Michael Luke, came right back to him with 9:08 left in the third period. Patrick Scarlatta involved in that as well. So again, the game is not over yet, but it is certainly starting to feel that way. And face-off one there. Oregon fires it, caroms around the boards to Trevor Schott from Will Daniels. Now back for Daniels, and Daniels and Shaw had a bit of a miscommunication there as to who was going to take that. Now here come the Ducks. It's Trevor Schott with McCarty. Offside is the call from the linesman right on top of the play with 8:52 left.
You know, time's ticking down. If they're going to try to make a push for this game, it's got to come now.
So Alex Selitzer wins the faceoff, but the Ducks mishandle the puck, and it goes all the way back into their own zone. Will Daniels has to skate backwards with it. And now intercepted by the Utes, but here come the Ducks with it as they take it away. Trevor Schott with it. Schott lost track of the puck. Would have been offside. So Utah now, 2-on-1 break. Here come the Utes. They get it to Cords. Cockrell. Rebound! Set wide and all the way out of the zone. Here comes Alex Selitzer. Selitzer's going to try to get around two Utah Utes. He's taken down. No raised arm. 8:20 left now. And a collision there in the middle of the ice. Time starting to move awful quickly for the Ducks. And I'm sure awful slowly for the Utah Utes. 8 minutes left exactly in this one. Here comes Oregon, still trying to get that first goal by Chris Coma, the first team All PAC-8 goaltender. ASU's netminder was the second team All PAC-8, and at the other end of the ice, who's playing a fantastic game tonight, probably made more saves, is Danny Cockrell. As table-topping his man there is Michael Luke. Just kind of was on his feet and there was on his knees, and the man fell over him, and he just stepped up and sent the guy kind of flying. But that will draw a penalty, I believe. Was that what they were? Is that the infraction that drew the raised arm?
That is. Yes, that is.
I will have no comment. I'm not sure what Luke was supposed to have done. And Utah has scored, and we're going to have a bit of a scrap here. It's 4-0. The net has gone flying. We do, it looks like, have a full-fledged fight going on there, and I'm going to guess it's involving Michael Luke. Looks like, is that Jake Yale grabbing some jersey as well, or Cody Dries? Guys still scrapping, and that will really probably just about do it. A 4-goal lead for Utah. And we'll expect to see Michael Luke take an early shower. And Luke throws his glove there. And indeed he is escorted to the bench, as is Caden Otley. So certainly not uncharacteristic there, although the first time in a while we've seen the gloves actually dropped. 4-0 will be the score. The penalty that was called against Luke is still going to have to be served by somebody with those college hockey rules. And I really don't know what Luke was supposed to have done differently on that play. Josh Dangle will bring the stick for Caden Otley over to him. And this one is has reached the point where it is all but a formality, a 4-goal game with 7:17 left. It's going to be a long hour and 15 or so minute drive to the airport for the Ducks, and then even though they don't have that too far to fly, going to San Francisco and then to Eugene, I think it's going to be a rough flight for them as well. For Utah, it is a long drive, but it will be a happy one, as unless things change in a major way here, Utah is going to take home the 2015 PAC-8 title, avenging their loss, I believe, to Arizona State in the championship game last year, and that was an exciting championship. Went to multiple overtimes.
Yeah, you know, definitely a different tournament than we thought we would have seen. ASU not making it to the PAC-8 tournament, citing disciplinary issues amongst the team, but they will be heading to regionals, I suppose. So make of that what you will.
So shrugs. Again, 3-0 still shows on the board. That fourth goal, don't have any reason to believe they will not count it. And Michael Luke's number is up there for the penalty. It'll be served by somebody else as Luke is busy taking his pads off, and he'll be one of the clean ones on the plane. I'm sure his seatmate will appreciate that.
Yeah, you know, definitely going to be a bit of a smelly plane ride as, you know, yeah, well, there are only 7 minutes left in this third period. You know, they could make a rush for it.
They could. I mean, we don't want to call the game before it's over, but Oregon has yet to put one by Chris Coma. To get 4 in less than 7.5 minutes is a very tall order.
Oh, absolutely. Chris Coma, great game tonight. He hasn't been tested much as the Ducks didn't really have much of an offensive possession through the first and the second, but anytime that he was tested, equal to anything that came his way. I mean, really demonstrating that he really did deserve the first team PAC-8 goaltender.
Yeah, and you know, it's not always about how many saves you make as a goaltender. It's about how many, how many goals are allowed. I think Cockrell certainly has made more saves than Coma, but you know, nothing to say that. I think there may have been a Duck coach ejected, and there have been some sticks thrown on the ice now. So we've just Rich Salahor still yelling, and I believe it is Salahor that's going to be asked to leave the bench. And in fact he is. He's walking, so Rich Salahor is done. It's going to be Justin Lacasse and AJ Bernhardt for the next 4 minutes. 2 penalties on the board for Oregon. Nothing so far on the board for Utah. You hate to make it a story, but that was all started with Michael Luke taking a penalty call when he was on the ground and had a player fall on top of him and decided to stand up. I really don't know what he could have done differently there. Certainly the fight after, and certainly things were involved after.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'm not going to say anything about that, and that's probably where the second penalty came from. I'm sure if Rich Salahor is ejected, there were probably some magic words, maybe a bench minor, but the way that the calls have been going tonight, they have been calling it so tight that you have to understand as a losing coach the frustration. The Ducks bench still yelling. And this is to say nothing or to do nothing to mar what Utah has done tonight. They have not won because of the referees by any means. They have been the better team tonight, and I think that we knew coming in that it was going to be a lot to ask for Oregon, and they've played very well. Utah's a team that can put up 8 or 9 goals on you before you even know what's happening. So for them to, for Oregon to get, have that scoreless second period, I think is a lot to build on going into next year. The scoreless first 10 minutes or so of the first period is good. They've looked good. Unfortunately for the Ducks, Utah has just looked better.
That's kind of what we saw coming into the tournament. Even Utah, everybody knew Utah was a heavy favorite. Obviously, they've had a really great program for quite a while, and just everything they do is crisp. Their passes are great. They have great breakout passes, and just their forecheck is unrivaled in this PAC-8 tournament. They really do put a lot of pressure in the offensive zone, and they're really great at getting as many shots on goal as they can. We've seen that today, with all the shots at Danny. But Utah, just a great program, and I'm sure they're excited to get into the Nationals.
Absolutely. We'll have to watch and see what Utah can do at West Regionals and indeed at Nationals. And now they've put back only 1 penalty on the board for the Ducks. Utah goes for the wraparound. Danny's leg pad is there. And now here's a chance. Alex Stolitzer on a break. Here comes Sully. He shoots, and the save. No, it's a goal! Alex Stolitzer has scored!
Coma drifted way too far back in his crease and actually brought the puck all the way over the goal line. From a game that we've seen Coma had, it's a terrible, terrible miscue to have something like that happen in the third period. That's just strange.
Well, there's a shorthanded goal. It'll be 4-1, and maybe a miracle brewing. Still a lot to ask, but it's a lot closer now than it was 3 seconds ago. Taron Donnelly flips that one through, and just the clearance to Coma. 6:46 left, a minute and a half left on the penalty. 6:40 now. 4-1 the score. Utes still with the puck now. It's Samuel Wilson that had it there. Now to the corner. Trevor McCarty was hit with a stick there, and that one is certainly something they've been calling tonight, but not called in this occasion. The Duck fans don't understand it. Puck is glued against the boards. Both teams trying to dig it out. And now finally Utah does get it. They'll try to center it here. Hits some legs and they're not able to do so. And the Ducks get it out of the zone, just or maybe they didn't actually, as that one seems to have gone the other way. Utah with it in the corner. Puck very hard to see on these near side boards here. And now finally the clearance from the Ducks with 26 seconds left still on the penalty. Utah with it in the neutral zone. Now they gain the zone. Big hit thrown by Alex Solitzer there. And Joe Hoover with the long pass forward. Solitzer's going to try to catch up to it, but he can't. And Will Daniels fires that one toward the linesman. Maybe toward the boards, but a result was that it was fired toward the linesman.
Keeping them on.
Solitzer again. Here's Solitzer, and is that a penalty called against Oregon? Must have been somewhere behind the play because Solitzer certainly did nothing wrong.
No.
I've lost my ability to be neutral if that one's going against Alex Solitzer. I'm sorry. I can't do neutrality if what Alex Solitzer just did is deserving of 2 minutes. We've got a timeout that's going to be called. And I don't understand that call.
You know, I really didn't see any contact by Alex Salter, but there could have been. There could have been.
So 5:13 left is. I do apologize. Dylan and I are really trying to be on our best behavior here, and it does get a little tough to sit up here and watch, but Utah has played an outstanding game. Oregon has been at times their own worst enemy.
Oh, absolutely. Throughout the whole game, they've just taken penalty after penalty, and that was one of the keys to our game, that they had to really behave and stay out of the box. You know, if they were going to win this game or have a shot at winning this game, they needed to fire on all cylinders, and just haven't been able to do that. You know, Utah's an amazing team, and it was a huge game, obviously. Super hard fought. Great game by the Utes, though. Matt Coma, really only one mistake there coming in this third period, but he's looked great otherwise.
So the faceoff will be in the Duck zone.
I'm sorry, Chris Coma, Matt Coma.
Name that Coma, Dylan.
Matt Coma is in the score box.
Another opportunity for Utah. That shot goes wide. 5 minutes left in this one, and once again, Ducks do trail by 3. They trailed by 4 a few minutes ago, so not over, but unlikely that the Ducks will really get anything more out of this one, as Utah is increasingly in kill the clock mode. Again, our clock does show about 4:09. The official time is 4:40, and that one, a charging call made when Utah touches the puck, and frankly, to be in the interest of being unbiased, I didn't see a charge there either.
Only, you know, who really knows what the refs have in mind right now, but apparently they seem to be confident in it, so good for them.
Not much of a reaction from the Utah bench.
Maybe they saw it too. I didn't really see it, but.
So 4-1 the score, 4.5 minutes left or so, give or take a couple in this game. 4-on-4 hockey momentarily. Good stick there from Nick Shabara to keep that one in the Utah zone. But the Utes able to get to it. Chris Stankovic tries to keep it in. We have another penalty coming up, and Trevor McCarty wants to have a word. This penalty does appear to be against Utah. Well, or is it maybe both? Roughing And McCarty is going to the box, so more match penalties here as Michael Luke is joining us in.
Let's go, come on.
And we've got 4.5 minutes left in this game. No one told the refs that the Ducks have a plane to make. And down to our right, Rich Salahor and Michael Luke, both of them have been ejected from this game, and they're discussing what they think the refs maybe have called, and some smiles on Luke's face, I think, given the situation, and Rich Salahor understandably upset, but having a nice conversation with Luke.
You know, that tends to happen when you get ejected from a game. Not to say, you know.
Trevor Schott digs in there for the faceoff for the Ducks, but Utah's going to take this one. 4:20 left in this game, all but official here, 4-1 the score. Well, Daniels fires that one forward, and right on top of it, the linesman said a Utah player was close to that puck. There will be no icing. Barnes with it there for the Utes, just trying to get out of here healthy.
Definitely do have to start looking towards the regionals. Don't want to take any, you know, any injuries or anything. They do have quite a solid depth to their bench, but any loss is an important loss.
Another nice save there from Cockrell, and the other loss factor there is going to be the suspension factor. There will be Caden Otley missing a game because of his involvement with that skirmish with Michael Luke. Don't know if there's going to be anything else that happens in the remainder of this game, but after that last penalty call, Trevor McCarty did seem to have a word, and his number's not up there, so he may be serving a 10 as well.
Yeah, not sure.
Would be his second of the game if it is the case, and you know, that's very frustrating to just kind of be put on timeout like that. More guys tangled up in the corner. Oregon gets the puck, and they'll just move out here. Tapped by Nick Shabara. Goes all the way behind the net here, and here comes Joe Hoover trying to flip the two-line pass, but it's intercepted. Deflected rather back to Stankovic. 3 minutes and 5 seconds left in this one. The PAC-8 championship looks like it will indeed be going back to Salt Lake. And they get another goal to the Utah Utes. And a big celebration there from Josh Dangle. With 3 minutes or 2:58 left in this game, that is going to make it all over but the crying, I think. 5-1 the score, and a score that I think is not necessarily indicative of how close this game has been. Oregon has done a very good job of playing well, particularly at 5-on-5. The trouble for the Ducks is that there's been almost no 5-on-5.
That's good play from the Utes, though. You know, obviously you don't want to let up at all. You always want to really go offensively and play a game. I think it's more of it would be more insulting to let up any bit, you know.
Certainly, and I think it shows a lot about the Utes that they are not doing that. You don't want to just only kill time, as we have got a push from a linesman on a player there. Little bit of a tap as Newell got a bit close to the linesman. Surprisingly, no penalty call from the referee. Puck squirts around there. Utah with a bit of a half shoot in there. They've got to go back on side, though, so Oregon gets a chance to take it. 2 minutes left, or 2:20 left in this game officially. Alex Sulitzer with it. Sulitzer's got the lone goal for the Ducks, although Coma may have done as much as Sulitzer to deserve it. There's Jake Yale. Yale tried the centering pass, and that was a good look. Unfortunately, there was no Duck there for it. 2 minutes left in this one. Nice diving poke away there, and that's going to go all the way back to Darren Toller. 2 minutes left. Jake Yale now tries to tap it for Trevor Schott, too far out in front. 90 seconds, or a little over 90 seconds left in this one. Minute 45. As Sam Rosenberg, with what might be his first shift of the game, takes a nice hit there. And now we've reached the 90-second mark in this game, 1:30 officially as of right then. 27 for the Utes. Had it there. That was Nick Fornelius briefly tapping with it. Another centering opportunity for the Utes. They can't tap it in. And tangled up are a couple of players there. Pat Taylor, one of them. or again, excuse me, Ryan Eberly, that's a 24. So the Cody Dries, Ryan Eberly, and Sam Rosenberg unit out there. Good for Rich Salahor to give some playing time to some of the assistant coaches, we should say. Salahor's down to our right, to give some playing time to the guys who haven't seen the ice yet tonight, with this game, unfortunately for Oregon's sake, decided. 45 seconds left in this one. The PAC-8 trophy will be going to Salt Lake, and the second place trophy, still a big accomplishment for Oregon, still a great tournament for the Ducks, Dylan, but it's not the one they wanted.
Absolutely, but that cup looks pretty shiny. I'm sure the Utes are going to be absolutely happy with that.
I'm sure that cup will be full of cranberry beverages within the hour, but that it will not be the one that Utah wants to win this year, or not the only one they want to win, as there's about 15 seconds left in the game now. Utah's going to want the national championship. The PAC-8 for them will be just the start with 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make it official. The Utah Utes are your 2015 PAC-8 champions. A 5-1 victory in the championship game, a 9-2 victory for them in the semifinals against Washington. Oregon is going to be a tough loss for them to swallow. They will get a trophy to take home, but again, you never want anything that says second place on it.
You know, it's hard to take, but definitely an amazing game for the Utes. They're always so great in every game they play. It's hard to find any flaw with anything they do. As we were talking before the game, it's hard to see any weakness you can pinpoint out on the ice. You know, they're just such a solid team.
Yeah, they are. They're a solid team. They're a deep team, expected to be something like a 1 or a 2 seed for nationals. So, you know, we'll have to keep an eye on that, and it could be a West Region champion that we've just seen play here today. And I think Oregon going to be a Utah fan for the rest of the season, because, you know, you want to, maybe not everyone has the same mentality that I do, but I would think you want to know that if you have to lose, you want to have lost to the best team possible.
Absolutely. You know, it's hopeful for the Utes. You know, I really definitely see big things for them coming in their future games. So that's going to be great. It's going to be exciting to see.
So we'll go to the PA announcer here for the trophy presentations. Well, so there you have it. Once again, Utah 5, Oregon 1. The Utah Utes, your 2015 PAC-8 champions. Oregon second place in the PAC-8, a good finish for them this season. And hey, for the Ducks' perspective, you still won the I-5 Cup.
Exactly. You know, it's a great, hard-fought game. Obviously, they let quite a few go there in the third period. It was pretty close in the first and the second, and great game from both teams. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was a great game, and it was a great PAC-8 tournament. Dylan and I are going to step off the mics here. We do, after all, have a flight to catch, but we'll let the broadcast keep rolling for all the Utah fans at home. I do want to thank each and every one of you for watching us. A huge shout-out to AJ Bolden, Matt Coma, and Josh Hafley. Great help from all of them putting on this show for us this weekend, and we'd like to thank them for letting us call this game. And once again, for Utah, you know, can only say good luck to them in the regionals and at nationals. For Oregon, it's going to be all about the 2015-2016 season now. Danny Cockrell, a fantastic career as an Oregon goaltender, and I think, you know, even with the loss, I think he's been the player of the tournament for me. For Dylan Lee, my name is Isaac Rosenthal. Thank you all so much for listening, and have a fantastic evening.